Welcome to the Women in Leadership Body, Mind, Soul, and Business podcast. I'm Charlie.
And I'm Heather. And together we are working to connect women in leadership and business to build relationships, empowering each other, improving the health and wellness of our community, body, mind, and soul, sharing the heart and soul of who we are and what we do.
Today's guest is very special to us, Maria Tan, our very first intercontinental guest. She is a light in the world. We met her through Allergene's e-summit back in January, and we have been following her ever since because we are just truly, truly inspired by who she is. Please welcome to the table for the first time today, Maria Tan. Thank you, Maria, for joining us.
It's my honor. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So for a couple of minutes, let the world know what it is you do and why that's your passion project.
So, well, in a nutshell, I help people really, really own their difference to make a difference. And, it seems so easy. Like, you hear it and everybody says, of course. But I'll tell you, like out of, let's say 100 people that I meet, only one person really can truly articulate the difference. And what that means is for you to really be honest, to have that honest conversation with yourself on what works for you, what doesn't work for you, what's your dream, what's your desire, and what's really stopping you. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of times people have this imaginary bucket list, like not just even imaginary, some people even have vision boards around it, and they don't get to achieve them because maybe whatever is on that vision board is really not what they're after, but something that's deeper. So for me, that's been my passion, to help people really own that difference, to really kind of like embrace being different. Mm-hmm. A lot of times we take on these dreams and desires because we want to fit in, we want to belong. And I think that's where the disconnect happens, because people tend to get peer pressured, so quote unquote, into compromising on what they want, into changing what they want, into kind of like giving themselves a lot of excuses why they should be doing something. So I'll give an example. Let's say they're not happy with a service that they had or with the food that they want. And instead of saying, this food doesn't work, or instead of asking the restaurant to change it, they'll eat it. Mm-hmm. Maybe talk about how bad it tastes, but how often do you find people saying, no, I'm not going to eat this? Or, for me, I'll just throw it away, or I'll ask the chef to come out and change it. Or basically, I don't mind paying for it, but I'm not going to eat it. Because for me, why? What for? So these are just like small habits that we've accumulate in our lives. So just imagine how that is on a macroscopic level in your life. If something as basic as the food you eat, something as basic as the water you're drinking, the beverages you're drinking, clothes you're wearing, if you cannot really be honest about those things, how can you be honest with the way you want to live your life, the way you want to grow your business, the way you want your passions to be heard or your message to be heard in this world? And the reason why I'm really passionate about this is, from a young age, I've been a misfit. Like, I know that. And how I had a conversation with a few friends, and they were saying, when I was young, I wanted to kind of like do something, but because I wanted to fit in, I just said something else or did something else. And I said, unfortunately, since a young age, I cannot do something that I don't want. I cannot say something that I don't agree. Like, I'm the type of person, like even like a child, I was the type of person that would say, no, I don't like this gift, or, I'd be very honest. And right now I think with the next generation, everybody's more liberated to say those things. But growing up in the 90s, you don't say that. You're kind of like, take what we give you, right? And be thankful for it. So just imagine in that generation coming from an Asian culture, I really, really stood out. And I think the only reason why many people in my society tolerated me was because I was able to monetize from a young age. Like I started my entrepreneurial journey at 6. And that's when I realized, at the end of the day, being able to have that freedom to monetize and leverage who we are, it gives us a lot of options and freedom. It makes it easier to not conform, to choose the things that really fit or align with our lives and the way we want to do our businesses, or whatever the ventures that we want. So when I was in my mid-20s, after having a successful career business, I felt lost. I've been in market penetration, cross-cultural, cross-geographical business development for a while. And I just felt there was something missing in my life. Like, I just felt tired. And then I realized, what I'm really passionate about is helping people like me, people that know they don't belong, that want to stand out, to monetize. Because just imagine if there are more people that, more voices heard, more ideas heard, there will be no war, to be honest, because we would be more tolerant of difference. I think we're now living in an age where everybody needs to be either an A or a B.
Right.
But what like there's so much polarized opinions about everything. And I feel like that now creates that discourse, that discord in between those different parties, because people are just kind of like telling you it's just one way or the other.
Right. It's black or white. There's no gray.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if there are more people like me who can monetize, because money gives some freedom, wealth gives some freedom, wealth helps you get heard, let's be honest, in the practical world, right? But the more people that are different showing up saying, hey, I did business this way, hey, I became a mother this way, hey, success for me is this way, hey, success for me means shorts and slippers and not, a Birkin bag. It kind of like tells people or gives people
that was a great example. I
love that.
but I'm just saying, like, I think that's where the pressure comes in, because everybody thinks it's just one way. Education should be this way, success should be this way, business should be this way, marketing should be this way, showing up should be this way, and all of that now creates that peer pressure within people to conform. So for me, I'm really passionate about really owning your difference, really understanding what makes you unique, really knowing how you want to serve in this world, how much money you want to make, how far you want your business to go, really being able to articulate all those details so that then you can make a difference, because you're honest with yourself. And when you're honest, a lot of things are clear. Your boundaries are set. What works for you are set. The message, the world that you want to paint is more clear. And if you're clear, then it's easier to form a tribe. Now it's easier to be heard. It's easier to compound your efforts and interests. So that's in a nutshell.
I love it. I mean, yes.
Talk about on par with what we've been talking about. Exactly. And like, I love it.
This week's topic is Asmita, a distorted sense of self. We're going through the Path of the Yoga Sutras by Nikolai Bachman, and each week we pick a chapter to use as our topic. And so I think that goes really well with what you're saying about how you help people with being who they are in truth and honesty, and just being who they are, who they really are, regardless of the box per se that society tells them they should fit in.
I feel like that right now our younger generations are literally just screaming to not have labels.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
want to create their own labels. They don't want to fit in a box. They're feeling it, right? So if we could take a few notes from that page and dig in and see, show up as ourselves instead of what we think everyone wants us to be.
Yeah.
The one thing that I want to caution there as well is, at the end of the day, right, it is about us being really honest with ourselves. And it's great that the next generation is removing labels, but some people like the labels, and that's okay too. So I think there's like again, it's really kind of like understanding the 50 shades of gray, and kind of like being okay with all that 50 shades, and not just saying, it's either label or no label, belong or not belong, but kind of like what that kind altogether looks like for you. I feel like, see, it's the same as saying, okay, I'm a positive person. So if I'm a positive person, then I should have no negative thoughts. But that's not life.
That is not life.
That's not life.
You
That's
can
not
still be a
reality.
light in the darkness, even if you're dark.
Mhm.
Like, I have a very dark sense of humor, and it comes a lot from my experiences in life. But I realized through my journey that I could still be the light that I am right in the spot I'm at. I don't have to move around. I don't have to change zones. I can shine right where I'm at.
And you don't have to fit in a box.
No, I don't fit in a box.
Like being positive, being a light doesn't, it's not just one form. It has to be fluid. And I feel like the pressure to define is what's now causing this disconnect within people, or distortion of self, as you said. So I feel like that's really the issue with that a lot of people are facing.
I like your perspective.
I do too.
Yeah, I do.
I
too.
do.
It's very
And I like
confident.
figuring out what it is for you, because I think what really got me was when you were talking about the vision board. That's kind of like what everyone expects of the vision board, like, this is what I'm going to do, but that's not really connected to who you are. And I think I've made those vision boards in the past, but the more I connect to, even if it doesn't make sense, connect to who I am, like that I want trees around me, that I want a she shed. These things they didn't fit into my life when I figured out that I wanted them in my life. But then watching it unfold and happen was so magical and so beautiful, like just to reflect that I really connected to myself, even though I didn't trust like what these things had to do with each other and my vision, but really honing in on who I am. That is just such a gift for yourself.
And I think it's the courage to allow yourself to do that, which I feel like is what's needed today.
And I think also too, a lot of people have had that downtime, and so they're feeling that pull.
Yes.
Like, you're feeling it, but it's okay to take it.
I think one of the
To go to
biggest things that I saw unfold during this last couple of years pandemic, the whole world shut down, was self-reflection.
Yes.
There's been a lot of self-reflection. I feel people are a lot more patient with each other, waiting in lines everywhere.
That's true.
Keeping space from
Okay.
each other, personal boundaries and things like that.
I was thinking people are a lot more blunt. Like, if they see something, they're like, who the heck do you think you are doing that? Because our etiquette of talking to other people, like, has shifted.
Yeah, it's definitely changed because, a lot of, when the world shut down, a lot of people shut down, turned off the internet, turned off the news. It was too depressing.
Right.
And so they weren't communicating for a while. But now, we're back in the world again, you guys, and the world is picking back up speed.
And I love that we can thrive in a different way.
Mhm.
and still have some of like our personal connections in
Mhm.
person, but then to meet amazing people like Maria Tan, like and like we would have never been on this journey and been here if we hadn't have been shut down, right? Like we
Right.
would never have reached out to have an interview. This is
Mm-hmm.
absolutely amazing to me.
Yeah.
I love the world became more accessible.
Absolutely.
I think
Close-
that's the perfect word, accessible.
accessible. Yeah. I love it. So Maria, take a couple of minutes and tell us, what does it look like to work with you? We have all of your contact information and links in the comments or the description if you're watching on YouTube later. But how would someone,
What does it look like?
what
for
does it look
someone?
like for someone to work with you?
So I specialize in what I call the CEO mindset. And
Uh-huh.
this is really about having no limits.
Uh-huh.
So when people hear of the CEO mindset, they think of, like being the boss, right?
Right.
But at the end of the day, CEO mindset, the one word that separates the CEO mindset and everyone else is the word limits. So I'll give you an example. If you're looking at the employees, or let's say a regular person,
Mhm.
the first thing the person does in a crisis is, oh my God, what would happen to me?
Mm.
So that's immediately, it's going into the negative. It's always going into shrinking. But the CEO mindset now thinks, oh my God, what can I do now?
Mhm.
Instead. So that big difference is how I help people, because I'm really great at helping, really hearing what people are not saying, not saying, but what are not saying. I specialize in helping people really articulate that vision that they have, because a lot of people tell me, hey, I know what I want, but when it comes to really putting the details,
Mhm.
I will tell you, like, nobody that I met has given me enough details. Like, one of my clients even said, Maria, to be honest, after our first session, I had PTSD because nobody even asked me those questions. I never gave myself that space to ask myself what being rich means, what a successful business means. And yes, there are so many prompts, but we really unlayer and unpack all of that. Because when you say successful business, okay, what does that mean? How are we measuring that? Is it just in figures, in revenues? Is it in the scale of your followers? At the end of the day, what measurement matters? So those are the things that people deal with working with me. I'm very practical, but I'm also very spiritual in a way that I always recognize people's different energies.
Mhm.
And I think, a lot of my clients are introverts, although I'm an extrovert, but a lot of my clients are introverts because the way I run my business, I'm very clear about my end goal. So for me, that's the reason why I do all this. But for some people who are already just committing themselves or just wanting, let's say, a 6-figure year or a 7-figure year, these are just very easy to achieve. You don't need to do so much to get a 6-figure year.
Mhm.
It's just a matter of changing the way you price your offers, the way you work, and that's it. Like a lot of my clients go from, I don't know, 20, 30,000 to 6 figures in less than a year, because it is about making the right choices, right? But
Yeah.
kind of like all of that, it's a different mindset. It's a different way of seeing yourself and the value you bring to the table. It is you really, again, going back to being honest and owning the difference that you bring to the table and how you make a difference, right? Like what is the difference when you're the one working? If you're a graphic designer, what's the difference if you're the one making this graphic design versus someone else on Fiverr? Why would someone buy from you, right? Like, how are you making a difference with your artwork? How are you capturing those moments for your clients? So it's really articulating all that, because a lot of times we have an idea of it, but then if you don't know how to articulate that, at least to yourself, you will always doubt that.
Oh,
If you can't articulate that to yourself, you will always doubt it. Boom.
Exactly.
I needed you today. That's so amazing. That's powerful.
This is the kind of stuff we have actually been talking about with each other this week, was the fact that we are showing up as if we are each making $100,000 a year running this podcast. You know, that's how we are approaching it. We have a plan. It's a big plan. It's a big dream. And we're all
I
in.
love the CEO mindset of not
Mhm.
putting the limits.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
we just keep bringing it to the table, and
Yeah.
and then we've been working with an empowerment specialist that helps us hone in hone
Yeah.
in on, like, you know, our emotional bit usually is where we end up. And it's interesting because we have all the skills.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so
The one
interesting.
thing about emotionals, I know that it's great to hone in, but there's always wisdom in feeling the stretch of our emotions.
Mhm.
Because sometimes through our anger, we can find the solutions that we're looking for and that we can actually deliver to the world.
Mhm.
Life happens for us.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, Maria, it has been an amazing visit with you. We still have a few more things yet to do, and a little bit more discussion, but oh my gosh,
Today is a very, very powerful day.
very, very powerful day. Absolutely. I can just feel the love and energy from you right now. And all those words, I'm just letting them sink in because it's just so much good stuff. I'm gonna have to go back and like re-listen and take notes. But I'm gonna move into today's meditation. We're working through Meditations from the Mat by Rolf Gates and Katrina Kennison. So both feet on the floor, sit up nice and tall. If you are driving, please pull over or do not close your eyes. You can always come back and do the meditation later. Good, nice, short and sweet. Deep breath. Exhale slow. Out through the nose. Day 37. When the practitioner is firmly established and conscious, knowledge, vigor, valor, and energy flow to him. Yoga Sutras. The fourth yama is the discipline of Brahmacharya, which literally means to walk with God, although it is often translated as chastity. Brahmacharya also means conscious. It is, quite simply, a call for us to practice moderation. The arena most associated with Brahmacharya is sexuality, and this yama is often misunderstood as the expectation that we be celibate, on the assumption that the celibate yogi is somehow more enlightened. This is definitely not the point. BKS Iyengar, in his discussion of Brahmacharya, points out that the yogi Vasitha had 100 children and yet was still living within the definition of Brahmacharya. To focus on celibacy is to miss the power of the final yama altogether. Brahmacharya is not a call for abstinence, but a call for temperance. As we practice Brahmacharya, we have the opportunity to enact a balance that is yoga in all we do. We can bring moderations to our thoughts, words, and deeds. We live in a world that is decidedly intemperate. Since the Industrial Revolution, the operative word in American culture has been more. I recently received a phone call letting me know that I had been pre-approved for a credit card with a $30,000 line of credit. Having carried a $4,000 plastic debit over a period of 5 or 6 impoverished years immediately after leaving the service, I considered $20,000 or $30,000 of credit card debt growing at a cyclic rate to be the stuff of my nightmares. But this offer is typical of the invitations to self-destructive immoderation that bombard all of us every day. Entreaties for us to conserve, to reduce, and to live simply are but a drop in the vast ocean of more. Brahmacharya offers us a chance to resist the culture of overindulgence and to bring a spirit of temperance into our lives. Practicing Brahmacharya is quite simple, and the results are immediate. The Yoga Sutras tells us that valor, vigor, knowledge, and energy flow to those who practice moderation. A quick inventory will illuminate how we are doing in a given area. Does my sex life fill me with valor, vigor, knowledge, and energy? Or is it a cause for concern, anxiety, confusion, and stress? How about food? Am I energized by my food or obsessed by it? Do I feel liberated by the choices that I make around my food? Or am I filled with concern, anxiety, or stress? We can go on to examine our relationships with money, work, time management, hobbies, exercise, whatever preoccupies our days. As we consider these questions honestly, it becomes easy to see where we are being intemperate and how the first small step into moderation can be life-changing. Brahmacharya is the feeling of freedom that comes when we have let an addictive craving go, when we can eat to live, not live to eat, when we can work to live, not live to work, when we stand firmly with ease of heart in the postures of life. Take a couple more deep breaths. Brahmacharya is the feeling of freedom that comes when we have let an addictive craving go. Wow. As I was reading, I was thinking about the beginning of my weight loss journey. I've lost over 170 pounds, and I've been able to keep it off for about 6 years now. It does fluctuate, especially in the winter, right? Hibernation. But one of the main things that helped me was combating my cravings. I would drink a cup of water before having something else to drink. I wouldn't go back for seconds, and I used to be able to eat a lot of food and still be hungry. Okay. I can't do that anymore. I'll have an apple and feel full. Because I've had to, part of that was practice and retraining my habits and my brain that's okay, that this is what full feels like. This is what health feels like, because I didn't know what that felt like before.
I love that, because a lot of what I've done over the last year with my part of my weight loss journey has been doing different types of fasting, and really learning that a lot of it is psychological, around like needing to eat and needing, like, that you need food, like that I have to eat this, it's habit and psychological. And there's, I'm really struggling with the emotional piece, but that's where I'm at in my journey, and I'm able to really see that, like, and start adding awareness to that. So just opening your mind to intermittent fasting, or a 60-hour fast. I would be happy to help anybody, with some research on that if you wanted. Just reach out to me. All my contacts are everywhere. So, but definitely, as part of my losing the 170 pounds has been really exploring that for myself and seeing what I need actually. And what it is that I'm missing a lot of times was nutrients. So,
Maria,
did anything come up for you?
So the one thing that that as I was listening, the one thing that I kind of like heard was the importance of walking with God. And for those of you who don't, who has different beliefs, think of it as this higher energy, this greater power that is in you, that you have connection with, and how, if we're really, really operating from that state of, I love myself, I honor myself, I really see and acknowledge the difference in me and the difference that I can make. I think many things become easier. And I know it sounds so easy, but the courage to just see that is really hard. And I have addictive tendencies. And the reason why, you see, I think everything about us can help us, but it can also destroy us. So the key is really, like you said, chastity and temperance. It is that middle ground, that very thin line of what balance looks like. Because for me, I have this addictive tendency, which is great in, let's say, work or in the things that I love, the things that, because I give it my all. But at the same time, because I have addictive tendency, if I love a kind of food, I will eat that every day.
Oh yeah.
Or I will eat until I'm stuffed and I'm like, like here and I'm going to vomit. I love the pleasures. I can lose myself in vices, in many different things. So I think what if you don't mind me sharing, what can help you, maybe if kind of like committing or making a mindset shift is hard, maybe do a habit change first. Like a replacement. I'll give an example. So I tend to be really intense when I do work because I help my clients really articulate their vision. And sometimes I need to take space too, so I can go back to my notes and really sleep and feel into what it is that they want to achieve. And that can be really, really taxing. It's like you're commissioned to create a life plan for people. So just imagine that, right? Or a business plan. So then in between work, usually I would kind of like pause and I'd play some dumb games just to kind of like reset. But then I noticed my reset time goes from 3 hours to 30 minutes to 3 hours, then 3 days. And, then you delay all the things that you need to be doing.
Yeah.
So I caught myself and I realized, no, this is not a great reset time. And because I have this addictive tendency, I cannot say just one game. I cannot say just one thing, so for me, I just replaced it with right now, whenever I need a pause, I just go for like 10-minute walks, like very short. I know it sounds so, I used to think, oh my God, but I don't want to go out for just 10 minutes and come back. But then I thought, 10 minutes won't be 1 hour because I will eventually be tired. So then I'll come back home anyway. So it's just that. It's like really, really that's what I mean by owning your difference and, walking with God, or really, really honoring your difference and honoring what makes you you. It's to understand your tendencies and create containers. I don't want to say like limits, but containers around them. So for me, like, because I have addictive tendencies, in the past, I decided to stop drinking, but in the past I love drinking. I love good wine, good food. I love to enjoy life. So in the past, I would never have any kind of wine in my house, because once I start, I cannot stop until the whole wine is finished, until I really, really feel that enjoyment, until I fall asleep. So like those little things, they can really tell you a story about yourself too. So it's kind of like, it's like, we understand our limits and we understand how to work with them, but not necessarily change them, because that's who we are.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That is beautiful. This week's quote is, "In darkness unawakened, they make foolishness cover their wisdom and overflow. One remembrance of illumination can break through and leap out of the dust." I mean, we couldn't we kind of plan these conversations, but we kind of don't at the same time.
We've really relaxed into this process. Is really beautiful.
Yes.
This bringing together the subjects and our guests, it's just really flowing, really beautiful. And we absolutely love embracing this process. And I really want to say thank you to you, Maria Tan, for being with us here today, for being our first intercontinental guest, for making time at midnight your time to be on live and still be full of life and joy and have so much value to give to us today. Thank you so much.
We appreciate you so much, Maria. Thank you for
Pleasure.
joining us today. Ooh, it's been oh wow. I just cannot believe how amazing our conversation has been today. I want to thank our listeners for tuning in. Download our podcast. We are so very close. It's probably going to happen within the next couple hours. 1,000 downloads. You guys are
Oh,
amazing. We're almost
congratulations.
there.
Almost there. We got some celebration stuff planned.
We do.
As soon as we hit it, we keep looking like,
keep
okay,
looking.
we're
I
trying to
keep
like not
looking.
obsess like about having an obsession of wanting to like look at that number. So did that number change? Did we have some more downloads? Because we're just very excited to hit this threshold.
Yeah, and we're so blessed to be in this space to be able to talk with everyone and just really come from the hearts of who we are and the heart of who you are as a woman in leadership and business. So thank you again. We love you all. Namaste.
Namaste.